Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Certainly. In Angular, reactive forms provide a powerful way to manage form inputs, validations, and dynamic behaviors. Dynamic validation refers to the ability to add or remove validators based on certain conditions, such as user input. What are reactive forms? Reactive forms are a way to create forms in Angular using a model-driven approach. This means the form's data and validation are controlled by the component class, allowing for more dynamic and complex forms. Key components of reactive forms. 1. Form group, a collection of form control instances that can represent a single form or a group of controls. 2. Form control, represents a single input field in the form. 3. Form array, an array of form control or form group instances, useful for dynamic forms. Setting up reactive forms. To use reactive forms, you need to import reactiveformsmodule in your Angular module. Creating a reactive form with dynamic validation. Let's create a simple example of a form where the user can add a list of tasks, and each task can optionally have a deadline. If the user specifies a deadline, it must be a future date. Step 1. Component Setup. Create a new component for your form. Step 2. Implement the form logic. In your task form.component.ts, set up the reactive form and dynamic validation. Step 3. Create the template. In your task form.component.html, create the form structure. Explanation. 1. Form group and form array. The main form is a form group containing a form array for tasks. 2. Dynamic validators. The setDeadline validator method is called when the deadline input changes. If a date is provided, it sets the validator to check if it's a future date. 3. Submitting the form. On submission, the form values can be accessed through this .taskForm.value. Conclusion. You have now created a reactive form in Angular with dynamic validation. This setup allows you to flexibly manage form controls and their validations based on user input. You can extend this example to include more complex validations or additional fields as needed.